the hell happened here?
I just got done with a play session, about a 2-hour play session of Trials of Osiris. I played a few times this weekend, and if you've played a few times this weekend, congratulations. You are one of maybe a dozen people. There's only a few of us out there, and it is bad. This weekend of Trials is probably the worst we ever had in this era of Trials. What I mean by that is post-Season of the Lost, when the anti-cheat got introduced and the reward structure got changed. We've never seen this low of a player count, this bad of a map with this bad of a game mode, and this bad of a sandbox. The stars have aligned here. Ignoring all that, actually, let's start with the loot. The Prophet Scout Rifle. I have a few choice words for this thing. I think what happened when they made 120 scouts, I think there was kind of like a little inside joke and like a challenge, basically. Like, how can we make the most hideous and obstructive weapon model for a weapon? And then some guy rose to that challenge, felt inspired, and managed to pull off a masterpiece. I mean, the 120 scouts could not be more ugly and obstructive, and the reticle could not be worse. You're peeking through a little peephole with a giant ugly dot. You can't track your targets. You can't see anything. Their recoil is obstructive. They're handling blows. They're all like fat and ugly, and they don't have good hip fire. They don't function in this sandbox in any way, shape, or form. The only thing that's promising about the Prophet is both its stat line and kill clip. If you get a kill and proc kill clip, you can 2-tap tier 9 rezo and below. Good luck doing that when you can't see who you're shooting at, though. No one's using these things. The only one that sees any use is the only one with a good scope. The one from last season. I forget what its name is. It's Solar 120 Scout. It has a good reticle. Can we get more weapon models like that you can actually see through and shoot at enemies with? If you can't do that, the weapon's not going to work in PvP, so why bother shipping it? And that's a question I really have a lot of the time in this game. Why did you bother with this thing? I can see it right off the bat. It's going to suck. I could see right away when the Prophet was coming out. If this is anything like Long Arm, it's going to blow. And it does. It sucks. It's ugly and a terrible weapon. I hate it. I'd like to like it because I do like text mechanical weapons. I like hip firing. That thing doesn't have any hip fire capabilities. They put hip fire grip and offhand strike, and it's kind of like a prank. Like, oh, maybe people are going to try this. Well, yeah, if you do try it, joke's on you. You can't freaking kill anyone with it. It's horrible. Text balance stock. Absolute travesty of a perk. You can't activate it. 4 hits. I need to hit 4 hip fire hits before I can hip fire a little bit better. Newsflash. I'm dead. I died. I lost that gunfight. When the hell am I going to have time to hit 4 hip fire shots without dying first? Like, that time to kill is like 1.5 seconds. I'm gone. I've been wiped off the face of the earth. I'm obliterated. So that gun, that alone, you put that on any weekend, any player count, it's gonna plummet. All right. No one wants this thing. I hate it. I hate that gun. I could rant on and on about that thing. It has great stats, but it just doesn't have anything else going for it. It's just ugly. As for the map, Rusted Lands, huge mistake. Why did they add this map in? Why did they add this map in? No, don't do it. Get it out. Switch it. They should switch the map right now. Like, they should have someone that can switch the map to save us from this torture. The B flag is fine. It should be the only zone you fight over. That's like, Rusted Lands should just be the B flag. They shouldn't have bothered with the other two, especially the one in the middle. The zone in the middle in that tunnel is a travesty. Who put that there? What were you thinking? That had to have been a stasis main. Some glacial quake titan was just like, toss the zone in that toilet, and then you just throw your glacier grenades. I'm gonna capture it. Oh wait, no, my glacier grenade got broke, and I'm dead. I'm decimated because you have nowhere to go, no cover to play off of in this tiny little tunnel where heavy ammo also spawns. Thanks for that. I'm so glad that heavy ammo got put there because it's really fun to fight over heavy ammo in that spot. Thank you, Bungie. Now, if they didn't have the zone there and just had the other two, and let's say the zones came up 15 seconds slower, I think the map would play significantly better. You'd have more time to flank around the map without it being a blunder to where the enemy team's going to overtake the zone and you're just not going to have enough time to retake it. But that's not the case. You have 30 seconds and everyone just goes straight to the zones. Sometimes you flank, sometimes you succeed, most of the time you don't. And that's just the map. I mean, we're in a pulse rifle meta right now, so Rusted Lands It's built for pulses, especially in zone capture. So everyone's using them, and it's just not fun to fight against. I've tried a bunch of it, different builds and weapons and all kinds of things. I've just been messing around because, I mean, this weekend's just it's a wash. I mean, do whatever you want here because it doesn't matter. They might just roll back this weekend just to kind of pretend like it didn't happen. You know, we're rolling back the game to Friday. We'll try again, guys. Like that genuinely might happen with how bad this is. This is quite the rant. The gameplay I'm running in the background is Young Humkar Spine. That's what I kind of settled on. And I've just been using a bunch of different weapons with it, just trying stuff out, having some fun. Young Humkar Spine is completely busted right now. Like, if you thought Prismatic Hunter was bad, this is worse. This is peak Young Humkar Spine. 66% of your ability back when you hit people. Or 66% of your grenade back when you hit people with abilities. How people haven't caught on to this yet, I don't know. It is busted, though. You got to give it a shot, especially on this map, especially on the B flag. You can work people with those grenades. It's really fun, but really greasy. And once people catch on, they're going to have to get on that quickly, although they won't. I'm convinced that the PvP strike team is like 6 people maybe, and they're all working on stuff that's always 1 year in the future, and they just keep moving 1 year in the future over and over again. It's just like a never-ending push forward in time. It feels like very little of the changes actually come in moments that they're needed. They just keep missing the mark. And right now, as far as the story is concerned in this game, no one cares anymore, and most of the people left. So they need to bring in the big guns, and I don't think they have them. Reworking Trials is not going to do it. I really don't think it will. I think we need something much bigger than that. I think we need some major loot refreshes at this point. The drip feed 1 weapon per activity thing they've been doing for the longest time now, it's taking its toll. These weapons just get lost in the ever-growing pool of other weapons, and I think some things need to go, some things need to stay, and a whole lot more new things need to come all at once to kind of just create that moment of refresh that really changes things. Because getting like 1 crucible weapon a season, it just gets lost in the mix. Getting a couple exotics this season, they get lost in the mix. If they don't stand out as broken, they get lost. And if they are broken, they get nerfed. And then they get lost. There's so many things in this game that are good that I just don't care about. Like, I just don't care. There's too many things. Maybe that's just a me problem. And I don't know. I don't know what the solution is other than just sunsetting a bunch of stuff. But I really do like when big resets happen. And I think that's where a Destiny 3 would be really valuable. But they could pull that off inside of Destiny 2 as well. But I just fear for like Apollo and the future DLCs. Story-wise, I don't think they're going to make it happen. I really just don't think Bungie's very capable at telling good stories anymore, especially in this game. It's just too hard for them to pull it off for some reason. And content-wise, they've just been dropping. Like, they're somehow finding a way to make more and more seasonal activities and less reason to play them. So it's like there's always give and take. Like, they move all their efforts into creating like a Tomb of Elder style activity, and then it drops in the middle of a season with 2 new weapons to get that are all mixed in with all the other weapons that you don't care about anymore. Like, I'm popping tonics for this shotgun, not getting the shotgun to drop. Like, the least they could do, these are simple things. The tonic of Scavenger's Fate should only drop Scavenger's Fate. I've been trying all season to get a Lone Wolf closing time shotgun, whether it's the slug shotgun, the deadlock comp shotgun, or this one, to 0 avail. I can't get them. I can't farm for deadlock. It's not allowed. It's against the rules. They don't want you to play comp more than 3 times a week for some odd reason. God forbid we get to play in a competitive playlist. It's not allowed, against the rules. They need the player count there to suffer so they can eventually have a reason to shelve it, I guess. Guys, there's no reason to have comp around anymore. Look how bad the player count's gotten. Look at this graph. The player count, if they ever did something like that, just remember how they treated that game mode. 1 weapon every like 3 seasons. You can't farm for it. What did they expect? This is a looter shooter, okay? There needs to be some incentive to play this stuff, and there's just not. Like, when the weapon's the profit, no one plays. No one cares. This map has been a disaster. This weekend is a disaster, and this game is a disaster right now. Kind of in a good way. Like, I've had fun this weekend with the low player count. I've had a lot of rivalries going with a bunch of players. I've been teabagging a lot, hating on my teammates. I've liked that energy coming back into me. It hasn't been that way for a long time. I just haven't really been passionate about the game. I don't really care. But this could just be like the last hurrah. Like, I'm having one last eruption of anger, and then it's just like, I'm done. It's very likely that that's going to happen. I'm feeling very apathetic right now. I got off just feeling like, why did I even play just then? So I might be taking a bit of a break right now. Content-wise, I don't care about anything going on in the game. Story-wise, same deal. And I just don't want to make videos on random legendary weapons, especially if I can't even get the rolls I want on them. That was the one nice thing about crafting. It's like, they're making RNG so difficult in this game. Every weapon has like 7 perks on it. It used to be like 4, then 5, then 6. 7 though, like this is too many perks. I can't get the roll I want. If I can't get the roll I want, I can't use the weapon. I'm trying to get that roll and I'm trying to use it in PvP. If I can't, I can't. It's that simple, and I don't know why they're not addressing it in any meaningful way. It's like, you can shower us in all the loot you want, but if there's 8 weapons in the loot pool and it's all random with more perks than ever before, how am I supposed to get the gun any easier? They're like faking improving the loot. They're literally faking it. It's so weird. I don't know why they can't genuinely change these things in a way that truly makes it easier to get. I mean, crafting was that, and they had to roll it back. They're literally in the process of getting it out of the game. They're switching to like enhancing weapons, basically. I could go on and on about that. I don't want to, though. Overall, though, I'm just concerned. And I'll end on this. Just a random idea. Gambler's Dodge, have it only refund half your melee in PvP. Just an idea. I mean, that dodge it's the cause of many, many problems in this game. The problem with doing that, with nerfing Gambler's Dodge, is now hunters suddenly are required to spec into every single one of their stats. Like, because of Gambler's Dodge, they could treat strength as a dump stat, whereas Warlocks and Titans treat mobility as a dump stat. So it is a hard hit to hunters, but maybe that means they could finally buff mobility in some type of way, like giving it intrinsic AE for speccing into it. Random things like that. Like, why stuff like that isn't happening, why they're not experimenting with things like that, and instead just doing these like micro adjustments. So we added 0.0001 damage to aggressive sidearms. Well, that doesn't even do anything. Why are you doing that? Who did that? Who went in there and did that? You wasted your time. No impact on the game whatsoever. That stuff blows my mind that they even bother changing numbers by that small of an amount. But yeah, I'm not impressed with the changes they're making. I think they've changed the game to the point where now it's dead. They've killed it with their changes. And I hope they realize that and they stop looking at their graphs, all their nonsense, and instead play their game, get a feel for what they really like about it, and start moving in that direction. Because they need to have some type of vision for how they want things to be. It doesn't seem like they do. They're just going all over the place, just looking at graphs. Ooh, this thing's high usage. We got to get that out of here. We can't possibly make other things better to compete or adjust things that we wouldn't normally consider could be impacting it. No, we'll just nerf that thing specifically, and then we'll nerf the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, and it just keeps going until everything's freaking neutered. Everything is neutered right now. We're complaining about 340 pulse rifles. They are barely 2-bursting. They have no room for forgiveness, basically. A 10 Regal Guardian takes 6 crits to kill. It was never that way. They used to be so much easier to 2-burst with, and yet they still weren't meta. There was times where they were blown out of the water by other weapons. We can't just keep nerfing things. Other things have to change. That's my thoughts. I could go more in depth with that, but I'd have to create a script for it because I can't do that off the cuff. But overall, we're at a dangerous level. Very low player count. Very low passion for the game, it feels, but both the developers and the players. And it's a little bit worrisome, but who knows? Maybe this is just all a rage-fueled rant after a trial session. Most likely, but I think part of it's just reality. And that's going to be it for the video. Just a pure rant. I love doing these, though. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.